Wait, no, don't tell me.
Christy, did you need to take stock photos tonight?
What?
Did you need to take stock photos tonight?
What? I could.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, anyway, alright, so, you know, okay, so I was walking on my way home from school on Wednesday, which is, yeah, and I was listening to my music. I keep on doing this.
Wait, how were you
listening
walking?
to the music on my phone.
How were you walking?
Oh, I was walking like this. And, not really, but, you know, I was just, you know, walking. And I see this car. I'm about to cross this street, but it's just not like a intersection street. It's just like a neighborhood street, you know. And I'm about to cross it, but I see this car that's gonna turn into it, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's just, you know, a normal car. So I just, you know, wait and listen to music. And then I see that the driver is rolling down the window and starts like motioning at me and talking to me. And I'm like, oh, I guess he's talking to me. So I put my music on pause because I'm listening to it really loud. I'm listening to like Skillet and like, hey, yeah. No, not really. Okay, so I put it on pause and I hear him ask me what my name is, and I'm like, oh crap. Oh, I started freaking out. I'm like, oh man, oh. I didn't answer him because, you know, I'm not going to answer that question. Stupidest thing I am. Anyway, so I take my earphones off and I hold it over there and I walk over to the car, but I stay like 5 yards away because you know that video that you watch in kindergarten or first grade, and you're like, and they like tell you to like stranger safety and stuff. Well, that's what I was doing. Okay, so anyway, so I stay 5 feet away from me. He says, hi, how you doing? I'm like, hey. And he's like, how old are you? And I'm like, 15. He was like, oh, never mind. I thought you were older. I'm like, okay. What if I was older? I'm freaking out inside. I'm like, oh crap. What's going on? I don't want to die. Okay, so then he's like, okay, well, nice seeing you. And then he smiles at me and does this weird wink thing, you know? It's like a really weird wink, and he waves at me and says, see you later. And I think inside, I hope not. I don't want to see you later, Creebo. So then he drives away up into this driveway, and I'm like, okay, that was really weird. And so I keep on walking, and then I see he drives by on the street again. He slows down. He has his window rolled down, and he waves at me and smiles, and I'm like, oh, that's so gross. And he's in his mid-30s, like, ew. Oh, this is nasty. Okay, so I'm freaking out, and I'm like, what should I do? I should call my dad. Okay, so then I'm like, and then as I was thinking that, I was watching the car, and I was waiting till I couldn't see him anymore, so you can see, like, maybe if he was watching me still. But I see that his lights had turned red, and I'm like, oh man, he's probably turning left, and I was gonna go the back way so that I wouldn't encounter him again. But if he's turning left and I go the back way, then he could like stop and get out of the car and do something, and he could kidnap me or something, and I'd be like all over the news, and I'll be like that person, that girl that's like 15 years old and you know, killed, and like the parents are freaking out and stuff, and they'll be on like Good Morning America or something. And then we'll be Good Morning, you'll be like, the girl's missing America. It'll be like really bad. So
this girl's
like, okay,
missing America.
What do I do? So I call my dad. I'm like, I should call my dad. Maybe he'll pick up this time. Okay, so there's like this group of evergreen trees. So I walk over into them, and I'm like cuddling in them, and I'm like, ring, ring, ring. Hey, Dad, what you doing? Can you come pick me up? And he's like, oh, I was about to go shopping. I'm like, come pick me up now and meet me at Maria's house. He's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, see ya, bye. And I hang up, and I'm like, and I walk out, and I'm like, okay, and I go over to Maria's house. She's one of my friends, and I walk in front of her house, and then I go to the side. So like this would be like, let's say this is like the garage, and there's the street over there. So I go over here, and I'm talking, and I'm calling Maria because you know this is her house to see if she's inside, to see if I can come inside and wait for my dad. And then this person jumps out and says boo, and I'm like, oh! And I freak out because I'm like, you know, really like tense and like, oh, anxious and stuff. I'm like, oh, it's just, you know, little girl. Okay.
Wasn't it her little sister?
Yeah, it's Maria's little sister. And Anyway, so we start talking and stuff, you know. I tell her what happened, and she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, ha 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 ha, fucking with you, honey. I'm like, not really. Okay. So then, and then I see this car that looks exactly like the car that the guy was driving. And I can tell that he had been going fast and like had slowed down into that street, and I could tell that he like was going to go fast. And I'm like, hey, Sophia, let's go hide. And she's like, okay. And I ran over and we hide. And she's like, hey, I'm gonna go tell my little sister, because Maria has 2 little sisters, and she was the older of the 2 younger sisters. She's like, hey, I'm gonna go tell my sister that I'm out here. And then my dad rolls up, and I'm like, well, there's my dad, so I might as well just go. And bye. And she says bye, and I tell my dad, and never again will I walk home by myself. I wasn't right.